Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for Ted Lasso Season 3. It's a bit bittersweet because this is the last season that we're getting, and so I was going into this, even just reviewing this, going, oh man, I'm so going to miss this series. But you're probably going to be wondering, is this as good as the first two seasons? I know people have mixed reviews or opinions on season 1 and 2. I know it started off mostly quite funny with a bit of heart in there from season 1, and people were getting used to the quirky comedy, the way it was put together, the character of Ted Lasso and others from the football clubs. And then season 2 had a lot more emotion and it was darker, still had that funny aspect. So now people are wondering, depending on which side of the fence you fall, like what's your favorite, you're wondering, what are they going to do with season 3 and how can it possibly be as good as the previous two? You know, can they strike gold again? Let's discuss. In the 12-episode third season of Ted Lasso, the newly promoted AFC Richmond faces ridicule as media predictions widely peg them as the last in the Premier League. And Nate, now hailed as the Wonder Kid, has gone to work for Rupert at West Ham. In the wake of Nate's contentious departure from Richmond, Roy Kent steps up as the assistant coach alongside Beard. Meanwhile, Ted still deals with the pressure of work and continues to wrestle with his own personal issues back home. So I've seen the first 4 episodes of season 3, so I'm not going to give like my overall score, but I can tell you what you're going to expect without doing spoilers in this. Let me just say, the humor is still there. The writing is still as tight as ever, which is why they spend so much time on it. We thought we were going to get this series sooner, but it took a while longer, and they've come around to a tight script, which is what I was worried about, that they weren't going to spend enough time on it. And it does feel like the characters are true to themselves still. There's also still a lot more heart. I think they're continuing the stories, especially with Ted, and dealing with the loss of his family, really. We see him, it kind of starts with him having spent some time with his son and the repercussions of him still living so far apart, and him wrestling with the idea of why he is still doing this. You know, if he could be spending time maybe mending his marriage or spending more time with his kid. That is still very much wrestling. Roy, who is now a coach, I've loved his character and seen the arc where he started at like the character maybe that we didn't like, or that character that was just didn't give a shit about anything, and now we have him as the coach who some of the players look up to, and he is as well mentoring a few. As coach you have to, and so in seeing that transition, he's having some relationship issues, but seeing what he's gone through is one of my favorite characters. Rebecca, I'm surprised at the amount of heart there is with her character, especially just in these 4 episodes, just because she seems to be like the head of the company, and her story was sort of emotional, dealing with her douchebag of an ex-husband who's now trying to obviously outdo her in his team, West Ham. And so we still have that kind of that fight now, rather than her trying to deal with everything in his life. She just wants to beat him, and so her character between Keeley, their friendship is growing a lot, and just seeing her come from that place where she didn't want the team to win, where she was kind of not rooting for AFC Richmond but is now. There is so much transitioning going on from those characters from what we saw them from season 1 to season 3, but the first 4 episodes in this season really are dealing with kind of a mess. Like they're on the back burner trying to catch up with how they're going to maybe try and win the day. But when Ted is a bit deflated because of his marriage, it kind of, I guess, reflects on the football pitch and his coaching style. So, you know, him trying to come to terms with that, still being that guy that everybody looks to for those funny quips or wisdom in weird sayings that he brings, that's all still there. But there's this undercurrent of him coping, you know, those acting moments when he was having panic attacks and anxiety attacks. He's still doing that thing with his fingers. He's still coping a lot, and I love the way they show that. So you can have heart and comedy and great writing, and then just really deep moments which really brings out the crescendo of the character. So you have these moments throughout, even just in the first 4 episodes. It still feels like Ted Lasso, but it also feels like they've written it towards maybe having an ending, which is great because you don't want to be left hanging. Obviously, they won't be able to wrap everything up because it's just these guys having their lives and they'll go on and do other things. But I'm guessing it'll come to the fruition of the Premier League at the end and what will happen to some of those relationships. Now, I'm still rooting for Nate in a weird way, although I do dislike him for going over to West Ham. But that's just good writing. Seeing that character wrestle with his own self-loathing, with what his parents have put him through, what his dad has put him through, and then come out of his shell and be a stronger man, but erring on the side of being a douchebag. It's an interesting character take, because I was always rooting for him as the towel boy. I'm now seeing him as the coach, or the kid boy, rather, the towel boy. The kid boy. And we have another new kid boy this time around. I'm wondering if they're going to do anything with that character. They're starting to, but it's interesting to see what new players and new characters have entered into season 3 as well. They do, like a new player, and new characters or friendships. They do play a part well, but they don't focus too much on them, because we still have so many characters that we like, and they're starting to again show us little peeks into what's happening. 12 episodes this season. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm a little bit nervous as to what they're going to do with it and how they're going to finish it, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Let me know your thoughts. Are you excited? Are you going to wait for the week on week, or are you going to wait until it's all finished and then binge it? Because I came late to this and I watched both seasons back to back when I finally watched it and thought it was amazing, because a friend had told me to watch it. So let me know your thoughts. Who is your favorite character in this series? Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.